If you're over 60, let me ask you something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first. But stay with me because this one question could literally shape the next 30 years of your life. What if I told you that your ability to stay strong, independent, energetic, and mobile all the way into your 90s depends on just 3 simple exercises? Not 20. Not a complicated gym routine. Just 3. And here's the part most people don't know. These 3 exercises don't just make you stronger, they actually reverse the very things that make people feel old in the first place. Weakness, slower movements, stiff joints, trouble getting up from a chair, poor balance, achy knees and hips. All the things we assume are aging, when in reality, most of them are simply muscle loss. And the good news? Muscle loss is not permanent. You can rebuild it, even at 60, 70, 80, even 90. I know that may sound bold, but wait until you hear what I'm about to share, because the science behind it is so powerful and so overlooked that it's honestly shocking more people don't talk about it. Here's the truth. After age 50, most people lose about 1 to 2% of their muscle every single year. By 60, that's usually noticeable. By 70, it's obvious. And by 80, it can become life-changing, unless you do something about it. And that something doesn't need to be intense gym workouts. It doesn't need fancy equipment. And it doesn't require hours of training. In fact, what I'm about to show you can be done at home, at your own pace, and without stressing your joints. These exercises are the reason 60, 70, and 80-year-olds are getting up from chairs more easily, climbing stairs without knee pain, carrying groceries with confidence, improving their balance, preventing falls, and feeling younger than they've felt in years. So stay with me because by the end of this video, you will know the top 3 most important exercises you need to stay strong all the way to 90 and beyond, and exactly how to do them safely, correctly, and in a way that fits your body. But before we get into the exercises themselves, I want you to think about something. Think about the last time you felt frustrated with your body. Maybe your knees hurt when you stood up. Maybe your back felt stiff when you got out of bed. Maybe you realized walking up the stairs had become a little slow. Or maybe you dropped something on the floor and thought, ugh, do I really want to bend down again? These tiny moments are not signs of aging. They're signs that your muscles are asking for help. And the beautiful part is, your body responds incredibly fast once you start giving those muscles the right kind of movement. I've seen people in their 60s gain noticeable strength in just 2 weeks. I've seen people in their 70s double their leg strength in a month. And I've seen people in their 80s completely transform the way they walk simply by focusing on the right areas. So if you're listening right now thinking, well, I'm too old for exercise, please hear this. You're not too old. You're too important not to exercise. So let's jump into the first exercise. But remember, I'm not giving you random workouts. I'm giving you the 3 movements your body desperately needs to stay strong into your 90s. These are the 3 most functional movements for aging adults. They are the movements that help you get off the floor, get out of a chair, protect your knees, strengthen your hips, stabilize your core, and prevent falls. And exercise number 1 is the king of all lower body strength, the sit to stand. This one movement tells you almost everything about how well you're aging. If you can get up from a chair without using your hands, you're in better shape than most people your age. And if you can do this consistently as you age, you dramatically reduce your risk of mobility loss. Because sit to stand works your quads, glutes, hips, calves, and even your core, all at the same time. It retrains your body to use the right muscles when standing up, which protects your knees and your back. And it directly strengthens the muscles that keep you steady when walking. Now I want you to imagine this for a moment. Think of someone you know who struggled getting up from a chair. Maybe they put their hands on their knees, push hard, rock forward, or even struggle a bit. That struggle is not old age. That struggle is weak leg muscles. And here's the good news. When you consistently practice sit to stands, everything changes. You start getting up more easily. You sit down more gently. Your knees stop taking all the pressure. You feel stable again. And you gain the kind of confidence that makes you move better throughout your day. So how do you do it? Start by sitting on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the ground. Lean forward slightly, tighten your core, and stand up without using your hands. Then slowly sit back down under control. If this feels too hard, that's okay. Use your hands until you're strong enough to do it without them. If it feels too easy, lower the chair height or add a light weight. The goal is simple. Practice the movement your life depends on. Because the truth is, the ability to get up from a chair is one of the strongest predictors of long-term mobility. Master this, and you're on your way to staying strong for decades. Now let's talk about exercise number 2, and this one is absolutely crucial if you want to avoid falls, improve hip strength, and keep your walking stable and smooth. It's the standing hip march, also known as the high knee march. Most people assume balance comes from the ankles or the core. But actually, the hips, especially the hip flexors and stabilizers, control far more balance than you realize. These muscles determine how you walk, how you lift your legs, how you climb stairs, and how you avoid tripping. And here's the part most people don't know. After age 60, hip strength declines faster than almost any other muscle group. And when the hips get weak, everything becomes harder. Walking, turning, stepping over objects, standing on one leg, and even simple household tasks. Weak hips lead to shorter steps, shuffling movements, poor balance, and a higher risk of falling. So the standing hip march is one of the most important movements you can do. Picture yourself standing tall next to a counter or holding the back of a chair. You lift one knee up as if you're marching, then lower it gently. Then you lift the other knee. Sounds simple, but the magic behind this exercise is unbelievable. As you lift your leg, your standing leg has to stabilize your whole body. That means your glutes, outer hips, ankles, and core all fire together. This not only strengthens them, but it also teaches them to coordinate, which is exactly what you need for real-life balance. And when you consistently practice hip marches, something amazing happens. Your walking becomes smoother. Your balance becomes automatic, not something you have to think about. Your steps get stronger. Your posture improves. And you dramatically reduce your risk of falling, which, by the way, is the #1 cause of injury as people age. So if there's one exercise you add today that directly protects your independence, it's this one. Now let's move to the third exercise, the one most people completely ignore even though it's responsible for nearly every movement you make throughout the day. I'm talking about your core. But let me be very clear, I'm not talking about sit-ups, or crunches, or twisting your spine. Those motions often do more harm than good for people over 60. I'm talking about deep core stability, the kind of strength that protects your spine, supports your balance, improves your posture, and allows you to move without pain. And the single best exercise for building that deep, functional core strength is the anti-rotation press, often called the Pallof press. Now, if the name sounds complicated, don't worry, the movement is incredibly simple. And you can do it with a resistance band or even a cable machine if you're at the gym. But let me explain why this exercise is so important. As we age, it's not just our arms and legs that lose strength. The muscles that support our spine also weaken. That leads to slower walking, poor posture, back pain, unsteady balance, and difficulty turning or reaching. But when you train your deep core, the muscles that stabilize your torso, everything changes. You stand taller without effort. You walk more confidently. You protect your back every time you bend or twist. You improve your balance dramatically because your center of gravity becomes stronger and more controlled. The Pallof press does exactly that. When you stand sideways to a band and press it straight out in front of you, your core has to fight the band trying to pull you sideways. That stabilizing effort is what builds deep, functional core strength, the kind that actually matters as you age. So how do you do it? Stand sideways to a resistance band anchored to something sturdy. Hold the handles close to your chest with both hands, then press straight out. Don't let your body rotate. Hold for a second, then slowly bring your hands back. You will feel your core working instantly. And over time, this movement teaches your body to stabilize in every direction, which is exactly what you need to prevent back pain and stay strong into your 90s. Now let's bring these 3 exercises together. Sit-to stands for powerful legs and everyday mobility. High knee marches for balance and hip strength. And the Pallof press for deep core stability and lifelong protection. If you do even just these 3 a few times a week, your body will change in ways you can feel. You'll notice getting up becomes easier. Walking becomes smoother. Your balance improves. Your knees hurt less. Your hips feel stronger. Your posture looks better. And you start feeling younger, not because of your age, but because your muscles are finally doing what they're supposed to do. But I want to take this a step further. Because I know if you're over 60, you may have doubts. Maybe you're thinking, well, I haven't exercised in years. Or, I have knee pain, will this even help? Or, what if I can't do these correctly? I want you to know something powerful. The human body is unbelievably adaptable. You are never too old to get stronger. You are never too old to retrain your muscles. And you are never too old to start. I've met people who started exercising again at 72 and built more strength than they had at 50. I've met people who regained their ability to climb stairs after years of struggling. I've met people who reversed knee pain, improved their balance, and completely reshaped the way they moved, all by starting with simple, functional exercises just like the ones I'm giving you today. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Because the moment you start sending the message to your body that you still want to move, it responds. It rebuilds. It gets stronger. Let me share something else. Exercise is not just about muscles. It's about freedom. The freedom to go places without worrying if you'll get tired. The freedom to kneel down and play with your grandkids. The freedom to travel, walk, garden, cook, move around your home, and live your life without feeling fragile. And these freedoms are not gone just because you're over 60. They are available to you, but only if you train the muscles that support them. Now imagine yourself 10 years from now. You're 70, or 75, or maybe 80. What do you want your life to look like? Do you want to be strong, active, mobile, independent, and able to move without fear? Or do you want to feel limited, stiff, weak, and worried about falling? The decisions you make today shape that future. And the good news is, it doesn't take hours. It doesn't take equipment. And it doesn't require perfect health or decades of training. It takes consistency. It takes simple movements done well. And it takes the willingness to say, my health matters. My strength matters. My future matters. So imagine this. Every week, you do your sit-to-stands, your high knee marches, and your pull-off presses. Slowly, over time, you notice your legs getting stronger. You notice standing up is becoming easier. You notice your balance improving. You notice your posture looking better in photos. You notice your knees don't hurt as much when going up the stairs. You notice walking feels smoother, lighter, and easier. These small improvements add up, and suddenly you realize, I feel younger than I did last year. That's the power of movement. That's the power of the right exercises. That's the power of strengthening your muscles after 60. But let's go even deeper. Because you deserve to understand why these exercises work. Sit-to-stands build leg and hip strength, the foundation of independent living. High knee marches activate your hip flexors, glutes, and stabilizers, crucial for balance. Pull-off presses train the deep core, the system that supports your spine and keeps your entire body steady. When you combine these three, you are essentially training your body to stay functional. You're training for real life, not the gym. You're strengthening the exact muscles that prevent injuries, improve movement, and preserve your independence. These are not exercises, these are longevity tools. And I want you to know something that most people never hear. You have so much more power over your aging than you realize. Your strength is not gone. Your mobility is not gone. Your balance is not gone. They are simply waiting for you to train them again. No matter your age, your body can rebuild. And you deserve to experience that. So before we wrap up, let me speak directly to you. You're watching this right now. You matter. Your health matters. Your strength matters. Your future quality of life matters. And you absolutely can be strong, active, and independent well into your 80s and 90s. But not by accident. By intention. By consistency. And by focusing on the movements that give you the biggest return. And that is exactly why these 3 exercises are so important. Now as you finish this video, I want you to do one thing. Pick one of the exercises, just one. And do it today. Even if it's only a couple of reps, even if it's slow. Even if it feels a little challenging. Because once you get that first repetition done, everything changes. You prove to yourself that you can do this. And you absolutely can. I believe in you. Your future self will thank you for starting today. So commit to these 3 exercises. Stay consistent. Move with purpose. And trust that your body is capable of far more than you think. Because you're not done. You're just getting started. And with the right movements, you can stay strong, confident, and independent all the way to 90 and beyond.